Welcome to High Vibin with Laura and Raylyn. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Mountain, I think it's called. Not really sure. My name is Laura Mazzotta from Emerge Healing and Wellness. Thanks so much for joining us today. I am the Akashic therapist. I guide women who are struggling with health issues, trauma history, or depression and anxiety to access their inner power and create their own paths toward wellness. Raylyn, take it away. Who are you? And I'll listen this week.
Well, that'll be a first, so it's okay. No, I'm kidding. I am Raylyn Saindon, and I am the owner and energy alchemist, channel and healing guide of the Healing Space here in Mesa, Arizona, right? As you can tell, we like to high vibe it. We really actually think of this as our kind of like our 80s throwback dance party, don't we? Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So super excited to be here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We have a great time. This is always a great show, very informative. I mean, we think so.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we just like hanging out with each other and sharing high vibe with you guys and talking about ways that you can high vibe and dance away like we do. So if you guys get a chance, could you please like and love and share this out to anybody who you think might want to hear a discussion about, the nature of reaching out to people when we get stuck and funky. In addition to what we're folding into that as a discussion about the spiritual path, right?
Yes.
And how up and down that can be and the process that unfolds when you take on that part of your journey.
Yeah.
So anybody who you think might benefit from that info, share it out, because we would love for more people to, anybody who might be feeling alone in this journey of life, to feel like they can identify either with one of us or with some of the experiences that we've had. So thanks so much in advance if you can share this out.
Yes. And I have my head turned, not because this profile is so gorgeous, but because I'm loading up comments and I'm sharing this out to my page. Again, like and share us out to your pages.
Thank you for saying you missed us. When I went on my show yesterday, that was the first thing I said was, I was just like so happy to be back because I feel like I was on vacation for a month.
You were, actually.
It's really long.
It's really long.
2 weeks, but I feel like I was gone forever.
Oh my God, it was way forever. Who said they missed us? I love them.
Holly Vargas.
Hi, Holly Vargas. I love her.
She really thinks we're fabulous people. So,
you know what? She doesn't know us very well, but
Oh, Holly, you're in for a rude awakening.
Oh, Holly.
So anyway, this idea of when we're struggling, how do we handle this, right?
Yeah.
So this came to us because I was struggling this weekend, really not feeling well, and I had to reschedule my meditation group, which made me feel very, very sad because I love that, and it's like so, I guess, inspiring and loving community space for everybody there. So
yeah,
I was sad about it, but I needed to remind myself that there's a reason that this is happening for me, that trying to really come to that point of acceptance, right? Of like,
yes.
Okay, like honoring my body. If you guys caught my live yesterday with Danielle Hope-Wolfe, we talked about this a little bit too.
It was good. Yeah, you did.
Talked about it a little bit. But so what I did was, instead of calling my friends and whining about how awful I felt, and saying, oh, poor me, and I just need somebody to love me.
She called her friends. She still called her friends.
Right. Which is really what I wanted to do, because that's how I was feeling inside.
Yes.
Instead of reaching for the validation, I reached for, I guess, spirit messages that would indicate my highest good. Okay. So I could have done this myself. All right. Again, this is why we do this show, to teach you guys ways to high vibe independently. Right.
Yes.
So I could have done this myself. I could have drawn my own cards. And of course, I, still did that. But I also know the level of power that comes from, just like if we pray together, like if you pray together, it's more powerful. Prayer, if you meditate together, it's more powerful. Being in that collective energy.
Yes.
When a friend of mine pulls a card for me, or a friend of mine holds space for me, or we sit together, just sit together. We don't have to talk or complain about anything, but just be together.
Yes.
That is empowering energy, right? And it carries so much more.
Well, and caveat, right? If I may so boldly interrupt, it's got to be, and we'll get to this too, folks, but it has to be with discernment, and it's got to be with those friends that will hold the space enough to say, okay, I hear what you're feeling, completely resonates with me. I understand it. I feel it too at times, but here's how we shift. Yeah. And let's both shift together, right? So that you're not wallowing with friends who just allow you to wallow, or they reaching out for help when you're a hot mess. Yes. Or they're the type of friend that not only do they wallow, but they want to one up you and say, oh yeah, well, listen, bitch, here's been my day. And let me tell you, and pretty soon you're going, hey, hold on a second. I thought, hello, I'm the one who reached out. I need help. I'm drowning. Throw me a life vest. And what you're doing is, just walking away from the pond and going, hey, sucker, get yourself out. That's not what we want to do.
We all get into that mindset of wanting to be saved.
Yes.
When we feel like that.
Yes.
I know I want to be saved. I definitely do. But I also know that that's not in my best interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason this happened. I'm not just gonna shut the screen off and move on with my life, right? It's that's part of what the spiritual path is about, is looking at myself in the mirror, looking at it in the mirror and being like, okay, reflecting in me. What is this showing me? How can I learn from this? How can I blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I texted Rae and said, could you please pull me some cards? Because I'm needing some love today, right? Yes. So she pulled me a bunch of cards, and I'm telling you, I truly, truly do believe that was the beginning of my turning point for that day, for my weekend, because first of all, not only did she pull me a card, she pulled me like 7, because she's Rae.
Something. Yeah.
So, right. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I think that I was just saying, can you assist me in bringing through what my highest good is? Because I'm feeling weak. Yeah. So I need some assistance with that, but I don't want you to save me from it. So I hope you guys can see that distinction, and please feel free to share any of your experiences with this, or the areas in which you struggle with this, so that we can help guide you in the comments, and we'd be happy to give our feedback.
Well, and I think I would like to too, at some point, if we can, if somebody if they want to share, I would love to do like a mini emotion code demonstration, because we can go through that shit, blast through it. But what I loved about you reaching out, and by the way, it wasn't, so we're the conduit, right, of this work of spirit, but spirit was like, okay, we need to pull out the big guns. So I have all my decks in front of me. I have my sacred geometry, sacred empowerment. I had own your power. And then I also had the Louise Hay love yourself cards. And it was, I have chills, but I wish I could include the photo here. I'll include the photo of it. Is that okay? It's your stuff.
Oh, no. I was actually going to ask you for your permission to share it in my group.
Yeah.
I feel like the spread that you pulled, well, I know that the spread that you pulled was all encompassing, though.
Yeah.
It went from like grounding in the earth energy, which was the first card, like grounding in that earth energy. And when we do that, friends, we pull up that nurturing energy from Mother Earth that is that natural comfort that we need when we're in that crap moment and feel like I need some love.
Yes.
Right? We can pull up that love from Mother Earth. And as I've said before, there's an opposite charge to the earth and to our physical body. So when we step on the physical earth, we neutralize our energy. Obviously, we're discharging energy, which can then be transmuted, but we're neutralizing it. So anything negative that's being harbored in us is going to be evened out.
Yes.
So it started with grounding, and then it went to probably something I'm overlooking so I can avoid processing it. And then we went to like forgiveness. We went to like forgiveness and emergence.
Oh, God.
There's something in there. It's probably something. I'll look it up while we're talking.
Yeah, look it up. I wish I'll share it. I'll post the picture after the show ends in the comments, and then you can share it in your space too. It was a very powerful spread, and as the cards were emerging, I was just like, oh crap, oh dude.
Yeah. And my mind is a powerful healing tool.
Yeah.
I see myself healthy, whole, and living in a society where it is safe for me to be who I am and to love others.
Okay, what's that face?
I am ever expanding radiance. It is my power to live my dreams. It's my power to create a healthy mind. So listen, friends, this is why I asked for this guidance, because that's not easy guidance. Okay. No. I mean, it's good because it gives us perspective, but it also, it highlights my level of responsibility as well in my experience, right? Like my mind is a healthy healing tool. I have the power to, you know, and when I'm feeling like crap, I really just want somebody to give me something so that I feel better, you know, but really no, your mind is actually a really, really solid healing tool. Use it.
Yes.
Just sit there and ride the waves.
100%. 100%.
And that step from struggle to starting to change it, that's the hardest hurdle to get over. Because once you say, all right, I'm starting this and I can do this, you can gain momentum and go. But it's that, how do I get from there to starting it? And that's where the asking for help comes in. It's not being safe. It's just like, help me start this so that I can go.
Yep. And the ego mind is the great protector of any and all threats, you know, that we perceive coming in, right? It's no longer about the wild boars chasing us, or, you know, I don't know, whatever, the warring factions of the next village, you know, that's going to come and rape and pillage and destroy us, right? This is now the threats of ego, the threats of blame, the threats of shame, the victim archetype, right? The saboteur archetype. The victim says, this is happening to me. My life is out of control. It's everybody else's fault. Why does this keep happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. The whining goes on. And it's important that we recognize those thoughts and the stories that we make up about things. Yeah. And we can really get wound up and spun out, right? And the power of these cards, they're neutral. The cards don't know anything about what's going on with us other than they just pull from our energy. That's it.
Right.
And
right.
we have so much wisdom to share, right?
Yeah. And it pulls from our subconscious as well. That stuff that we're not necessarily aware of, but that we're giving off energetically, you know? Yeah.
And the subconscious mind is where those healing messages are located.
But it's so interesting because what you're talking about too, like with the victim archetype, is just like that book, with the Journaling Junkies, which is Radical Forgiveness by Colin Thing, which is a radical book, but a very, very transformative one.
Oh my gosh.
And he talks about how we really need to kind of embrace that victim mentality, dive into it before we then kind of shoot back up. So if like we're going like this and then we dip down into that victim mentality before we then go even higher up, right, to the awakening, to the realization of who we really are at the core, who we started as, you know?
Yes.
And so that came into my mind as well, that instead of in those times when I feel like a victim, don't blame myself and kick myself for feeling like a victim and feel like, oh, well, you're just, you know, weak. So that's why you're feeling that way. But instead, this is a very normal and natural part of spiritual development. Right. To embrace this victim archetype, to appreciate that I have to be immersed in it, not where I'm wallowing. Right. I can feel it, to highlight, you know, the disparity that exists between who I am physically and who I am spiritually.
And that's the key, is the feeling of it, is feeling those emotions, owning the fact that okay, here's what's happening. When we build our awareness with what's internally going on inside of us, and it takes going quiet a little bit and stepping back and observing, and we hear those messaging, like, you were feeling like, I don't know, how were you feeling in that moment?
I was feeling.
What were you saying?
I was feeling useless.
Okay, so in that moment, we hear that thought track that says you're useless. What have you accomplished? You're worthless. You look at everybody else around you. They've got their shit together. You keep facing the same stuff. You're this, you're that. You're ugly. Your body, whatever. And we can get spun and spun and spun. And pretty soon, we're making up stories and we're calling us out on nothing. None of that happened. We simply just had an emotion where we're feeling a feeling of being separate, disconnected from the oneness that is us, maybe disconnected from our bodies. I know you have some physical health challenges that are very real in your life that come up, and it's a reality for you. So in that moment, then instead of, allowing ourselves to go on this story that says that we're useless. Mm-hmm. I love how you caught that. You catch that awareness and you say, okay, here's the thought track rolling. That's the first step, right? Observing that.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say too, is, I'm so good at managing my internal dialogue.
Yes.
And I do that all the time. I've gotten very used to that over the years. So I'm very good at that. Then like 3 weeks into feeling like crap, I start to get into all right, I'm done. I just feel like crap now and I'm useless and I'm crap and all of that.
Right.
But even if I can shut that off, what's really important to realize is that I'm still sitting in the energy of those thoughts. Mm-hmm. And that's what's really important to clear through either energy work or spiritual cleansing or having that higher perspective. Because even though I'm really good at managing that internal dialogue, well, that just means that I have cognitively trained my mind, right? Yeah. Great. I mean, that's a great step. And like you said, that is step one. So I think that's awesome. Yes. But then we're still left with that density that was still hanging around there. And I was feeling like, So we have to clear at a deeper and higher level. And that's when we can ask for just a little bit of holding space from someone else, and saying, okay, just hold some space for me or point me in the right direction because that energy is literally sticky. I mean, when I do Reiki on people, mm-hmm. because you can feel the blocks, you can feel the blocks, you can feel how sticky, how well flowing the energy is in terms of its movement. So sometimes we can do it for ourselves, but especially when we're physically drained, we need a little bit of help with that.
Well, so there becomes the key then too, right? Is the asking for the space and seeking guidance from someone. But you want to make sure that individual is on the spiritual path that you're heading and wanting to go toward, correct? And or B, that they're either at your same level, like we're at peer-to-peer, or they're maybe a step or two ahead of you. So it requires discernment, correct?
Correct, because I always tell my clients when we talk about comparison, right? It's actually one of the DBT skills, dialectical behavioral therapy. So one of the skills that we work on there is there's a bunch of different tools under managing your emotions. And one of them is to use the tool of comparison in a productive way. So you're going to use comparison as, all right, I'm going to compare myself right now to times that I felt like this in the past, and I have handled it well and gotten out of it. So in that way, I'm still relying on myself, but I'm relying on a past version of myself that I've used, that I know I have within me, that I've used before. Or that you compare yourself to someone who you really look up to, admire, and would always take their advice and feel like, okay, that's really reliable and solid advice, okay? Who would you look up to? And you're going to try to internalize their voice, right? And then if you can't do that on your own, then you ask for the help.
Yes. Yes.
So Holly brought through a question.
She did.
What would you say are some good tools on bad days to not rely on someone to be your strength to the point I am myself and others? Also, I really struggle with setting boundaries, especially without feeling so much guilt. All right, so we'll take this in two parts, Holly.
Yes.
Go ahead, Raylan. Do you have something to say?
So that first one, Holly, first of all, thank you for that question. Fantastic questions. I love the fact, and this is what I'm noticing here. I love the fact that you said how not to rely on someone to be your strength. That's where we start. I have freaking chills and it's like 100-degree weather today. We have to recognize and realize, understand, it is not someone out here or anything out here that defines us, that strengthens us, that speaks validation and worth right to us. It is in us. It is within us. It's that the Native American metaphor of feeding two wolves. One wolf is the good wolf, the inspirational wolf, the wolf that we're talking about feeding, the wolf that is the observer, the wolf that is there for you, is a benefit to you, is your spiritual guidance and inner wisdom. The other wolf is the wolf of the ego that will attack, the ego that blames, that feels guilt and shame, that points fingers out here and says, it's your fault, you're doing this, right? And it also judges us as well. So whichever one of those you feed is going to be the rolling conversation that goes on inside of you.
Right. So I think the question is, how do you not feed that, right? I think that's one of the questions. How do you not feed that? Yeah. So one of the ways is taking a statement, which is actually part of my homework right now for my writing course, which I'm working on.
Woo, yes.
Which is taking that statement, I am useless, and reverse journaling it.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
We do anyway, because that was through the work of Byron Katie that you pointed out to me, Raylan, which I love, that ability to kind of do those turnarounds. And you guys can check out her website at byronkatie.com. She has a lot of tools that you can print out for free.
Yes.
Worksheets and questions, like, I guess, sequences of questions.
Judge your neighbor worksheet, right?
Yes, exactly. And you can go through that and guide yourself through turning that thought around. But the process doesn't just stay at a cognitive level, right? It doesn't just negate the feeling underneath it and that clearing energy underneath it that we talked about.
Right.
It gets to the core, but then it brings you back from it and gives you a way to use it for your highest good, which I think is so good, because then we're not sitting in it. We're not blaming ourselves for having that thought.
Yep.
We're having an awareness of it, and then we're transforming it.
So let's do that. Let's take them through that right now. Okay, so you hold the belief, right? You hold the belief that I am useless.
Oh, great. Okay. You guys are going to do my homework for me. This is amazing.
Let's do it. Okay. Thanks, friend. I still have to do my homework. It's all good. I'll do it here with you. Okay, so the very first question then, in that she says you hold this situation in your mind. When is the earliest memory, or what is a memory that comes up when you say to yourself, I'm useless? What are you seeing in your mind? I'm asking you.
I know, I'm thinking.
Oh, sorry. Woo, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to a time when I was like helping my parents in the garden and I was just doing things wrong.
Okay, so they were saying you were doing things wrong, correct?
They're pissy with me. Yeah.
Okay, they were getting pissy with you. Okay, so in that situation then, the very first question, and this is what I take clients through, the very first question is, then in that situation, who is angering you, confusing you, hurting you, upsetting you, making you sad, disappointing you, whatever it is, and why? And so then you would write that out. So it would be your mom and your dad, correct? And it's your mom and your dad getting pissed off at you. And what were they saying?
Just like, ugh. I don't know if they said anything, but I get this tape in my head of you can't do anything right.
Okay. All right. So then number 2, the question becomes then, in that situation, how do you want mom and dad to change? What do you want them to do to make it better for you?
I want them to have patience, and I want them to kind of embrace me and say, oh, it's fine. You know what? Let's kind of laugh it off.
Yes.
You know, lighten it and be able to kind of redirect me to something else.
Okay. So then we go to number 3, and it says, in that situation, what advice would you offer to them? They should or shouldn't, etc. So mom and dad should, mom and dad shouldn't.
Oh yeah, see, that's right. That's the part that I remember. I'm such a visual person. Like I remember what exactly I see on paper.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't. They should manage their own frustration.
Okay.
And they shouldn't project onto me.
Okay. This is a huge one.
Oh no.
I know. We're going to go to that one. We'll go to that one in a second. Then the 4th question is, in order for you to be happy in that situation in the garden with mom and dad and doing your deal, doing your thing, what do you need mom and dad to think, feel, say, or do? For you to be happy in that situation, what do they need?
I think that I'm just like a cute, obnoxious little girl.
Okay.
Right? Who's just like, and be accepting of that and just be like, you know, here we go.
Yep.
And
go ahead.
Trust that I am resilient.
Woo! Okay.
And that I will bounce back from whatever.
All right. So then number 5 is, what do you think of mom and dad in that situation? And you can go to town with it. In that situation, what are you thinking about mom and dad?
When I was little or right now?
Well, so you're holding that memory awareness of those feelings from back then. So I don't think it matters.
I think they're mad.
Okay.
Disappointed in me.
Okay. And then the last question.
With each other. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Mad, disappointed with you, unhappy with each other. Okay. And then the last question then is, what about that person or the situation don't you ever want to experience again?
The disappointment in me.
Okay. So going back to your answer on number 3 then, this is where, guys, this is where the turnaround comes to play. So number 3, in that situation, the advice that you were offering to mom and dad about what they should or shouldn't do.
I see this part. Yeah.
Is it true that they should or shouldn't do that? Number 1.
No.
Okay, perfect. And then when you believe the thought of what they should or shouldn't do, how does that make you feel? Where do you feel that?
Well, anytime the word should is in there, it brings up anger and guilt and resentment, which does not feel good. Yeah.
Perfect, right? Perfect. All right. So then what would you be without that thought that mom and dad should or shouldn't do?
I would be me, like happily playing in the garden and doing whatever.
Woo! Okay. So what did you say? Do you remember what you said mom and dad should? Okay. Say it. Say it.
Have more patience.
Okay. So what's a turnaround for that?
Well, one is Laura should have more patience.
Woo! With who?
Myself.
There you go.
And with them.
And with them.
That's another turnaround. You turn it around in you can turn it around in multiple different ways. So it's Laura should have more patience with Laura. Laura should have more patience with them. They should have more patience with Laura. They should have more patience with themselves.
Yes.
You know, so there's multiple ways of doing it.
Also, they think that Laura should have more patience with them.
Correct.
Yes. Yes. Or It's equally valid to say that they shouldn't.
Yes.
Because really in the scheme of things, okay, if they don't, how does that impact you? The number 5, what do you think of them in that situation? And you said you thought they were angry, you thought they were mad, disappointed in you, and mad at each other. So can you know those things to be true?
No.
So then when you hold that belief that they were mad at you, they were disappointed in you, and they were mad at each other, how does that make you feel? And where is that hitting you?
It makes me feel like crap. I feel it in my sacral chakra, like ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like vomity and all of that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So then when you let go of that thought that they were mad and disappointed in you and mad at each other, when you let go of that, who are you then in that situation?
I'm just me. I'm free.
You're free.
Free to be me, and I have no boundary. Like I'm limitless.
I love that. And then what was the one that you said about being, you said something about being the obnoxious kid.
Oh yeah, they should appreciate that I'm just like a cute, obnoxious little kid, like who's brilliant, and yeah.
So what's a turnaround for that? Laura should appreciate.
Oh, yeah.
That Laura should appreciate that cute, obnoxious little kid who is resilient, and she's just having a fucking good time playing in the garden with her mom and dad.
See,
messing shit up and being a kid.
And that's why this work sucks. It's so powerful. And this is, I'm so glad we did this today because, well, I'm glad not. But because it highlights the difficulty of the spiritual journey and the healing journey.
Yeah.
Because it's so illuminating, but you have to take responsibility for yourself in this scenario. Like I can be pissed at my mother all I want. I can be pissed at my friend all I want. I can be pissed at my father all I want.
Yes.
At the end of the day, all of those pissed offednesses to them is really about me. I need to take responsibility for all of it and turn it around. And that's especially hard to do when we are feeling like crap. But those are also the moments that we really feel have the most data and I guess richness to use to do this work.
Yes. Yeah, and it highlights the fact that we create the suffering that happens in between this space right here.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I held hey Pam, thanks for watching. I held such horrific beliefs for so long about my mother, about my childhood, about how I didn't have a family I belonged in. I didn't belong. I came into this world alone and there, no connection and everything had to be done by myself, for myself, and this, that, and the other, and I created these lies, and so then that informed my interactions with my family.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, and it informed my people pleasing, trying to adapt and be everything to everyone, and then you're nothing to no one.
Right.
I mean, I would get spun out. There would be times where I couldn't even have just an innocent interaction with my mom. And I had convinced myself that somehow she was my antagonist.
So thank you. That's what I was going to say. Was that when we say, well, I'm a victim because my childhood sucked. Well, you know what? A lot of people can say that. I could say I'm a victim because I got sick and I'm freaking sick all the time, Right. And I'll say that we're victims of X, Y, and Z. But then that also implies that if we hold on to that and we embrace that actual role too much, that then implies that we have a perpetrator.
Yes.
So then if that implies that we have a perpetrator, then we are putting our power in someone else's hands. And anytime we're doing that, especially with a human, it's completely unreliable because human beings are unreliable. We're unreliable beings.
Yes.
You know, we have emotions that change 21 times a day on average.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's taking, you're disempowering yourself.
Yep.
By putting yourself in that victim role, because then you're allowing yourself to say, oh, well, then there's somebody who's perpetrating me. So I think that when we say that reading in that book, Radical Forgiveness, you embrace that victim concept, you move on. It's really acknowledging and processing the feelings that align with victim consciousness, not assuming the human role of victim, because you then set up a dynamic of having a perpetrator. Does that make sense?
It makes complete and total sense. Danielle just shared a great comment that you could pop on the screen. 85% of all people suffered trauma as a child, from Mark Wolyn's book, It Didn't Start With You. And that goes back to Danielle, and you guys talked about it yesterday, the Kaiser study back in the 70s of ACEs, of adverse childhood experiences. And I filled that out, and I was like a 10, and that's high on the scale. So a lot of us go through those experiences, which goes to Holly's question is, what if the memories that we hold, and you and I have this, sister, is that our parents are getting physical with one another, or they've gotten physical with us. And she says that around the time of that memory, she's 7 or 8 years old. So one of the things that we know in the work that you do, and in the work that I do and the studies that I've done as well, and my undergrad training, is that we tend to be, as far as emotionally evolved, right, and mentally evolved, connected to the age of our deepest trigger, our deepest wound.
We just talked about this morning.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Yes,
that you get stunted at that time. That's actually where, this is why emotion code was coming up for you earlier, because that's where emotion code can clear those emotions or trapped energies that have occurred at certain times in our lives, not only in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes, and also that's come through generationally through other people in our lives. That yes, there's going to be something stuck there. There's going to be something that is wounded or stunted there.
Yeah.
So what if the memory is the parent getting physical with the other, and I'm around 7 or 8?
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, you know, I love the Akashic records. So for me, my first thought is to ask the records that scenario.
So should we say, dare we say, right, in the book Radical Forgiveness, and we highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But we say very gently here in this moment, is that it holds tremendous power and truth when we can see now through the lens of our shared and lived experiences, that there are situations and events that have come up in our life. Personally speaking, myself, I was a childhood sexual abuse and physical abuse victim. Not victim, sorry.
You were a victim.
I was, yes.
But you
that happened to me.
Work since then. Yeah.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
So we have very real things that go on in our life, but I can see now, and I look back on it now, and I see that those were situations that were actually happening for me. They have informed and given me the strength and the ability and the really honestly pushed me and propelled me into this path, and created the spark of the desire of healing myself and being the expert that I am, and helping others to heal through that. And but it also, there is a very real spiritual reality here at play, and I think you know where I'm going with this, my friend, is that before we come into these lifetimes, we make contracts and we make agreements, and we invite into this human experience, whichever lifetime human experience we're having in the moment, we invite situations into our life and permit them in order for our highest and best to come forward and to develop.
Well, and it might not even be for our highest and best. That it's, you know, and that's why I was saying that I would go into the records, because I would want to find out what is the soul level connection and purpose for not only the scenario to have played out in your life, Holly, but also to the role that your parents played in one another's lives, in your life,
Yes.
right? Your role in their lives. And so, you know, that we can even be sent here to serve as the person who is supposed to have other people learn a certain lesson, right? Yeah. It's not even for our own highest good all the time. Sometimes it's for in fact, I personally believe that it's more for the collective's highest good.
Yes.
You know?
100%. Yes. Yes. Every single thing, the things that happen in our lives, that the experiences that we are gifted with, yes, Amanda, thank you for sharing that too, have an impact and a connection to those of us around us, and even those who are coming into our lives much later. The fact that you guys are here watching and listening to this conversation, and the fact that we're having this conversation, the fact that we collectively, each of us, have had these experiences, these connected experiences, drew us to each other in order for this to come forward, in order for mass healing to happen and occur, right? So everything is connected. Nothing happens. We are not islands, and nothing happens in bubbles.
Right.
Right. And they're not removed. There is a larger and larger context.
Right.
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 And I say context informs content. So those experiences that we've gone through inform who and what we are now today, which then inform who and what we become, and the influence and impact we have on the world. What are you laughing about? My flailing arms? I talk with my hands all the time.
I'm totally going to throw this back at you here.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on, you just said context informs content. Don't disagree.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, okay, thinking about the law of attraction?
Yeah.
The content of my soul, the content of my aura, the content of my energetic being, the context that comes to me, that I find myself in.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like as humans, as we start on our journey, yes, context informs content, creates content. But I think that as we dive into this stuff, and guys, let us know what you think about this, what your vote is.
This is a huge philosophical discussion. She's getting into the conversation of free will.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Because I'm saying, like,
yes,
you know, that content is really our soul.
Yes.
That's what we bring to this life, right?
Yes.
And so whatever content is in my soul that was supposed to create certain contexts so that my soul content continues to evolve. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And here's how I would explain that. And I love these freaking conversations. I love it. So we have these energetic centers in our being called the chakras, correct? And the lower chakras are all rooted and grounded in our human experience. We know this truth that we are human, we are spiritual beings first, having a human experience. So we have the lower chakras, our root chakra, our sacral, and our solar plexus are all connecting us and grounding us in our humanity, okay? The heart is the gateway, the bypass for the lower chakras to flow up from and outward, and for the upper spiritually connected chakras, that spiritual balance, right, to flow down and through and out.
They're behind me if you guys need a visual.
They're behind you. Yes. I love that tapestry. Look at that. Yes. Amazing. So those lower three, the red, the orange, and the yellow, that connects to our humanity. The green is the gateway. It's the bridge. It's the bridge. And then the blue, purple, and the multicolor, the crown chakra up there are the spiritual. So that's our spiritual being connected at heart level with our human experience. And this is a spiritual law, is that there must be harmonizing. There must be balance in all things. And life is balanced with contrast and with light, with give and with receive. And if we are too heavy in the giving and we are not willing to receive, we are out of balance, we are out of alignment, and our life reflects that. And in this arena, yes, our soul has come here to play out and to inform and to play a role. Shakespeare talks about men and women play roles on a stage, right? And it's filled with many acts. Our lives are filled with many acts, right? And that's referring to that spiritual archetype stuff that we were talking about.
Right.
And that's the union between our free will and our spiritual context and content. Yes. So I don't think that you can unravel all of it away from each other, but it's all very informed.
No, but it's just funny because when I think about context informing content, it makes me think of my old self feeling like a victim. And I think it's because it's like, I felt like, because of all these things that have happened in my life or things that have happened to me, right, I am this way or that way. I gave the context too much power and did not give enough power to my inner soul content.
And that's the key. But now it is a reminder, even that former version of you is a reminder that context informs content, because that context of playing that role of victim has informed who you are today.
Correct.
And created the dynamic that you have today. Yes. I love it.
That's what Colin Tipping said in his book.
Yes.
It's that, we're born into this blind to, on purpose, we're kind of blind to that spiritual purpose that we've come here for.
Yes.
That spiritual power that we have, because we have to fully embrace the human experience to be in this more enlightened stage. So yes, it's almost like this prescription of context leading to content, so that once we get to that certain level of content, we're like, well, fuck, I gotta get back to switching this the other way around,
Yes.
So.
And then that's when the spiritual context comes into play, right? And we can awaken to those things. Oh my gosh, like I'm just head to toe chills, spirits on us. This is a huge conversation that we're having, friend. And this is going to go viral. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing. You guys too, we are shifting our show. This will be our last high vibe show, but Laura and myself and our wonderful friend Danielle Hope-Wolfe, the three of us are going to be joining together on Clearing the Lens. And that will begin Thursday, September 5th, right?
At 1 Eastern, and it's going to be through the Awake TV network. Network. So if you have not liked that Facebook page, go ahead and do that. We'll obviously have links on our pages as well, so that you can see us going live. So it's basically going to be the same thing that we're doing here. We're just bringing Danielle with us, because she's fabulous and makes our vibe even higher than it is with the two of us.
Yes.
So, and we're just going to be broadcasting just from a different platform to include a wider audience. So we would love it if you guys could follow us over there as well, and continue to, just participate in these discussions and share and ask your questions. It looks like Holly sent us something else.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think a lot of what I've seen, heard, went through are what made me who I am, meaning my strength, how I love to be a nurse. I can intellectually see how it shapes a person. I've lived in the victim role of being sick, especially after my dad's suicide. That's what I'm trying to heal from and get back to my complete self. I never used to give my power or strength to anyone.
Yeah. Wow. Boy, what a conversation can be had there. And, we're not saying that this erases these very real traumas. at all. But what we are saying is that we have done so much of our own inner healing work, and a lot of it is that inner child stuff around these events and experiences that we've had, so that we are maybe just even a few steps down the road, so that we can talk about what those experiences were, and we can say, yes, that happened, but we know and understand that that's not who we are now.
Right.
And we have taken a look at what that version of us felt like. We showed you, you know, Laura went back to playing in the garden with her parents, and she witnessed what her child self felt like in that moment, and she acknowledged it. And then we gave that child a message, and we comforted her, and we told her, hey, you're just in the garden playing and being a kid, and we love you. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's the stories that we attach to things. And I think
yes.
when you say it's not dismissing the trauma, I mean, first of all, trauma is defined differently by everybody. I mean, as a therapist, I see people with all levels of trauma, and somebody with what you could, you know, subjectively say is the worst trauma could look at the person who you could subjectively say is the lightest trauma and say, oh my gosh, how can you complain? But it's all based on our own experience. Trauma is anything that is shocking to the homeostasis, right, to the balance of the system that we're used to. And it doesn't matter, because the body and the energetic and emotional bodies respond to things as traumatic experiences, even if we don't egoically think they are traumatic, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But, you know, with what Holly's talking about too, you know, I think that, yes, the important thing is to honor that it occurred, okay? You're not celebrating the event, right? You're not saying,
amen.
You're not celebrating it, but you're honoring it.
Yes.
For presenting itself in your life to allow your soul to up level to the degree that spirit would like it to, or needs it to play its part in the collective consciousness. Does that make sense?
100%. I love how you said that. We honor the event. We don't celebrate it. Correct. And I would add too, not only do we not celebrate it, but we also don't ruminate about it, right? We don't dwell on it. We don't live in it. That's huge. And I spent years doing that.
Well, that's the difference between the victim consciousness and the victim role.
Yes.
So, okay, I can temporarily align with the victim consciousness to feel and process this, but I am not choosing to become a victim.
Woo! Yeah.
The role of victim. There's a very different, yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing, Holly, that really helped me was I began to change my language around how I spoke about myself. And we've talked about this before. I am statements are powerful. For those of you that have a background in religion and faith, you know, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, God is asked what his name is. And he says, I am. I am. That's all we need. And we are from Creator God, from that power, from that source, and divine. We are divine love. We were created in love. We were created in his image, in his image, and in the image of his Son and of the Holy Spirit. And we also are triune beings. We have a body, we have a mind, and we have a soul. And so we are. And so when we say those I am statements, that we are speaking power into our lives. And it is so critical that we speak positive, uplifting, vibrational, energetic power into our lives, rather than the stagnant, low vibration, negative stuff. And so I always say, I am a thriver. Those situations I'm grateful for, because I would not be who I am today.
Yeah.
Having this conversation with you, facing the opportunities I'm facing otherwise.
Yeah. And that's why I want to take a minute. Actually, I want everybody to just take a deep breath in with me, really filling up your abdomen. Breathe out. I want you to either look in the mirror or look in the camera on your phone, or if you're not able to look at yourself right now, then you can do it when we sign off. But I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to say whatever I am statement comes to you. So for me, I would think of saying I am useful, but that doesn't feel powerful enough to me. So really what I think the opposite of I am useless is I am valuable.
Woo.
I am vital.
Yeah.
And looking yourself in the eyes and saying that to yourself. And the difference with, okay, I'm going to look myself in the eyes and say this and just use the words and kind of drill that in my brain, which is good, right? But it's also feel the energy of it. Like you're giving yourself a hug, like you're hugging a little cute little nugget, whether you like animals or you like little kids, you know, and just think like, I am valuable. I am vital. I love you so much, right? And saying those things to yourself in the mirror. And it seems like the dumbest exercise. And I remember when it was first told to me and I was so resistant to it, probably because I needed it so badly, and felt really angry when I started that practice. But I'm telling you, if you can be consistent with it, I mean, even once a day, my friends, even once a day, feeling the energy while you say it and the feeling of love, like when you are embracing that person that you haven't seen in a while and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Doing that for yourself and just embracing that kind of feeling and energy when you're saying it out loud is to be transformative for you.
100%. And it's critical, and it starts with how we speak about ourselves. What absolutely, you know, the I am statements, if we will allow that power to roll in our life and we are very careful and mindful of what we say after I am, if we speak words of I am ugly, I am fat, I am, like you said, useless, I am unworthy, I am stupid, I am dumb, I'm an idiot, etc. Shift that to I am feeling defeated, or I am feeling spacey today, I am tired today, or I'm feeling tired, you know, things like that.
Today at the end, because that's the thing, like I am feeling distracted right now, or I am feeling disappointed right now.
Yes.
Because what that does is it really implies to yourself, you're making a commitment to the fact that this is temporary.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Which I really like, because then you're giving yourself that opportunity to shift. And what's interesting is that as you become higher vibration, as you practice your spiritual hygiene, thank you, Danielle, for that word yesterday.
Yes.
Now implementing into my vocabulary on a consistent basis.
Yes.
So as you practice your spiritual hygiene and your vibe elevates, you're going to catch yourself. Like literally, there are certain words that will come out of my mouth, or that almost, except the word fuck, because I really like that one. But
it's therapeutic.
Right. But words that are going to come out of my mouth, or that have come out of my mouth, that I will stop myself and be like, it just doesn't feel, it feels wrong. It doesn't feel right to me anymore. And there's certain, you'll notice that, and the same thing goes when you're on your spiritual journey, of certain foods, certain habits that you're like, oh, I just can't eat that anymore. I just can't do that. It just doesn't feel right, because you are shifting. We are energetic beings. We are matter, and matter is composed of moving atoms, moving molecules. It's always moving.
Yes.
So, which means that it can always be shifted.
Yes.
So as we shift, then we need to shift what's coming into our energy field.
Well, and they say scientifically it's been shown that we work on, which is so cool to me. I'm a pattern person, and our bodies physiologically and biologically, our systems regenerate themselves, renew every 7 years.
Yes.
And they say the working theory is that by age 7, that's when conscious behaviors start to come into the awareness of our children, and they start to develop their sense of what you want to call right or wrong, or the knowing better kind of stuff. but we also, the number 7 is the number of completion. And so we, every 7 years, are a new human being, physiologically, biologically, but also can be energetically as well, and spiritually too. So that's where we say then, remember that that was a version of you. That is not you now.
Can I also bring something up?
Yes.
That Holly just said that she was 7.
Yes. Oh.
And that's when my parents got divorced, when I was 7.
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder if...
You know what? Shit. There's my bomb. The sexual trauma started when I was 7.
I was going to say, I thought that.
Dude, yeah.
Yes. And so is there something about, do we get impacted at a different level when it occurs at those, like in the sequences of 7, or especially at age 7, because that is so true. I mean, even in all of the psychological research that I learned in college and in grad school, that's when kids start to become conscious of other kids, start that basis of comparison, self-consciousness, evaluating themselves, self-evaluation, all of that.
Even with child development, we know that up to about the age, they say between the period of 7 to 10, but they start with 7, is that that's when the brain up to that point, as coming out of the womb up to that point, their brains are in a hypnotic trance. They are in that wide open, no filter mentality in order to draw in and bring in all of this information in a constant stream of consciousness is where they live. And that window starts to kind of slow down at age 7 of development. I think we're onto something. 100% I believe it.
It almost feels like a gate.
Yes, there's 7 days in a week. Right? God called the 7th day holy, right? And it's a day of rest. I'm telling you, there's a pattern here, and we've tapped into it. And 7 rolls through. I know that there's mathematical stuff around it's a master number. It's a number of completion. There's in nature, if I want to say correctly, there's something to do with the Fibonacci spiral, and they move in patterns of 7 too, or something like that. So it's huge. Yeah. We're onto something.
Definitely. And I think that it's really important to acknowledge. That's why I put that message up there, what you were doing when you were 7.
Yeah.
Just to inform your own, I guess, evaluation of understanding of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And being able to say, like, who was I then and what was going on? Because if that is this period of shift, of such a significant shift.
Huge.
That's interesting too, because even thinking about my own kids, what I've always been told as they grow up is, 3rd grade is the hardest year. 3rd grade is the hardest year. Well, how old are they when they enter 3rd grade? They're 7.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's that bridge year. That's that time when everything kind of starts to shift. And they say, you know what? Yeah. Wow. It's a
huge number. Ooh, Anise is watching. Maybe she can bring into the number 7. It's a huge number, and I think we're absolutely onto something. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What do we want to do? Do we want to pull some cards?
Yeah, let's just pull a couple of cards and then we'll close up, because I have a client after this anyway, so I have to skedaddle soon.
Oh, geez, your clients interfere with our playtime.
They really do. There really is a way with us hanging out and just coming up with all these fabulous spiritual theories.
Oh my gosh, we're going to write a book. We are writing a book. We are.
You just spoke into existence. It is going to happen.
Yeah, we did.
Done.
Woo! Okay, for those of you that just joined us, we're going to pull a few cards. Will you tell them about our new show again?
Sure. Here we are taking high vibing on the road, my friends. We are going to bring Danielle Hope-Wolfe on with us because, well, she's amazing. And she just heightens our vibe even more when all 3 of us are together. And we are going to be moving our show to be housed on the Awake TV network. So that's going to be starting on Thursday, September 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Mountain. And the name of that show is going to be, why are you laughing at me? Did I say something wrong?
No, because of the first sacred geometry card I just.
Okay, good. Because I, you know how I am, and sometimes I screw up what I'm saying.
No. See, that was a story you were making up. You were making up a story.
It's going to be called Clearing the Lens.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about clarity on your path to awakening. So it's really quite synchronistic that we're talking a lot about what we just did in the show, because it's really a nice segue into what our show is. Oh, Rae Lynn, Anise received your gifts.
She did. Yay. Thank you. Oh, I love you, Anise.
Good.
She's our sister from another mister out in
Soul Sister for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Guys, so like the Awake TV network page, and obviously we're going to be posting the links when we go live on pages, so you'll still see that. But there's also a lot of other spiritual goodness over there and peeps that you guys can check out. So.
All right, we have 6 cards. 6 cards.
You should never pull one, because you are like the queen of spreads, and your spreads are so powerful.
Woo! Well, it's it's the power of the energy here in the collective, right? Look at this first card. You're gonna die. It's the Merkaba.
Merkaba, that's so powerful. I mean, just talking powerful stuff.
Yes. That's why I was laughing. I'm like, oh, of course. So here's what Spirit says. The frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimension. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences, human and spiritual, into our present to serve our highest purpose.
Holly, that is for you, my friend. If you are still here, that is so speaking to you right there.
Yes.
Talking about that Akashic connection between your parents and you, and those triangular relationships. Oh my goodness gracious.
I mean, and we could go on about the Merkaba. That's going to be on our next show. We're going to talk about the Merkaba.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And spiritual awakening and all of that. Okay. The next card is this present experience is a stepping stone to a new awareness. This present experience is a stepping stone to a new awareness. And then here's our sacred empowerment cards. We got 2 of them. So I can't read that backwards.
I am deeply grounded, yet flow with the winds of change.
I am deeply grounded, yet flow with the winds of change. We were just talking about 7-year periods, change and renewal. Shit.
I am enough just as I am, my friends. I am. That's exactly what came out of our experience that we just went through with the Byron Katie questions. That without the interpretations, without the anger, without the stories that we have about the people in our lives, or our situations that we've been through, or scenarios we've been exposed to, we are what's left if none of that exists. Us.
Right.
Just as we are. And we are enough just as we are.
Amen.
Preach it.
Right. Here's the next one.
It's my power, move it up a little bit, to support myself in every way.
Yeah, it is my power to support myself in every way. Damn. So I'll take pictures of these and I'll post it too. And then we'll post Laura's cards too. And you guys can use them as journal prompts. And then the very last one.
It is my power. Oh, ouch. It's my power to be consistent with myself. Spiritual hiking, Danielle. Oh, there you go, baby.
Yeah. I thought, oh boy. Look at what we did, guys. Look at what we materialized for ourselves. And this is a big topic, and it's such an important topic. Oh yeah, Holly.
Holly, yes.
42 and the power of 7, the year of huge change.
I'm telling you, it is just this.
You know, 42 was a pivotal year for me too, and I started to really shift into these spiritual truths too. I have chills, dude. Incredible. Yeah. Woo!
Wow.
See, I'm telling you, it's 7 years. It's damn. I'm going to do some more research on that, you guys.
Yeah, this is definitely something that has got my brain.
Look at what Rachel says.
I'm screwing this up. All right, good.
Pop Rachel's comment up.
All right. Oh, baby.
Look at that.
That's my anniversary is July 7th.
Right? Wow. Dude. Billy, do you know what Billy's birth date is? Billy's birth date is July, which is the 7th month, 1970. Look at that. Wow. Woo! Dude,
you've got to let us know any other 7s that pop up, because we gotta go. But please let us know in the comments. Just keep commenting, because this has got my brain exploding a little bit right now. I'm pretty pumped about this.
Same here. Our attention. Woo! See, we channeled some major stuff today for people. And my friend, it's always an honor and a pleasure to hold space with you. And oh my gosh, I'm super excited about our new show.
I am too.
Bringing on Danielle and her freaking powerhouse vibe.
It's so funny because like we're signing off here and I'm like, I feel sad. Like I just, and this is so powerful, but I'm like, you know what we don't think of is how much more powerful it's going to be, you know?
Yeah.
You know, how much better it's even going to be and how much more it's going to expand. And that's exactly what this step is for us. And it's pretty exciting. So
huge.
Thank you all for joining us on this journey today.
Yes, thank you, everybody. I'll take pictures and I'll post it in the comments.
Cool. We love you all. And, you know, just a couple things coming up. Journaling Junkies with Rae is starting 4th Times the Charm on September 8th, which is the book written by Danielle Hope-Wolfe. And she's actually going to be in that group with us. So you guys are going to have access to the author in that group. And she has journal prompts within the book. So it's a really good practice for that group. And it's just such a nice, loving group and supportive group of women. Yeah. Although men can join too. And I have my Evolve group coming up as well, which is, I think, my next task there after we make up this last one is to take you guys on an Akashic Records journey. So yeah, that's just women who are looking to really expand spiritually and in personal development. And we grow as the group grows as we grow. Yeah. And kind of dictating what we want to learn about, whether it's crystals or Reiki or meditation, and we do all that collectively. So
you guys, we've had channeled messages come through in this space. I mean, it's amazing. And it's like, it's $30 a month.
It's $30 a month, and then you get 15% off all my services. So if you have one session, it pays for itself. In fact, it might even pay more for itself. So
and journaling junkies, $40 a month, and same thing, you get 15% off of my services as well. And Laura and Danielle and I, we have lots of collaboration coming up, and so stay tuned for all of those wonderful announcements too. So
yeah,
cool.
All right, friends, thanks for joining us. We love you all.
Yeah. Love you guys.
See you very soon on Awake TV Network on September 5th.
Go to Awake TV Network and join, like it and join it and share it.
Like it and love it. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.